Welcome to Tech This Way.
Alright, Encik Shamsul Nashriq from MotioFixo.
Yes.
So that's something that you set up right from graduate masa
baru start ni,
multimedia.
baru
Dah start dah.
That's that. Wow. Okay.
Huh.
Sorry. I was not ready for this. I'm a camera shy man, but yeah.
That's why we'll just ignore all that, is it? So just get into the flow.
Yep.
Sorry, my question was apa tadi? Right from the start, it was always that.
Started the company when I was 24. Young,
Hebat. How did that happen lah? So tiba-tiba je terus tak nak masuk corporate dah. Set your own corporate.
Well, I think the most ramai lah. I mean, when I've got a lot of these questions lah. One thing I noticed that when I entered MMU, it was a new experience lah, basically.
Where were you before that?
School.
Yeah, no, from where?
Klang. I was
Klang lah, Klang.
So Klang.
Gangster di Klang.
I'm a PJ boy.
Oh, okay.
And then masuk sekolah asrama, I went to sekolah agama in Kajang, sekolah Mahat, Mahat Media. And then after that, I did not do well there. Then I went to Teknik Kelang. And then lepas tu I masuk MMU.
Okay.
So when I was 16, I wanted to become an architect. It was like a dream thing lah.
Right.
Like I wanted to pursue this lah.
You wanted to design.
Yeah. I've always loved the persona of an architect lah. Kan. Padahal tak ada pun saudara, doing architecture whatnot kan. But never mind. I was into that. So I went to Teknik Kelang. That was when I was 16. That's the start of it lah.
That was the mission lah.
Masuk Teknik Kelang. Then I score lah. My SPN, I punya LK dapat A1, and I'm like, okay, so this is it lah. Then I applied for a lot of applications lah, and then I didn't get it. Didn't get any interview for it. I'm like, oh man. And then tak apalah. Ada my friend kata, you cuba masuk this MMU, is like multimedia style. Dia tulis kat situ, it's creative multimedia, degree in creative multimedia. I'm like, creative, okay, architect is creative. Then I just masuk lah. Then I got there, ingatkan ada architecture, nothing lah. It's purely creative multimedia lah. But never mind. So during my years dekat college days tu, I still tak hilang lagi I wanted to become an architect. So all my assignments, I do a lot of architecture stuff. So when people do 3D design, I do building design.
in 3D.
In 3D, yeah. And then when people do object design, I do like, industrial, like perabot, furniture, whatnot. And then at 24, that was our final year. We kind of wanted to do, me and my good friend lah, my two partners lah. My first partner, my close friend lah. So, I saw a lot of friends masa tu doing a lot of freelancing works. Then I'm like, why don't kita try do something jugalah. Dia kata nak tukar. Tak record? Tak mengapa. Tak sembang je kan?
Asal audio ada.
So, and then masa tu fikir-fikir, okay lah, kita try buat something lah. Let's do something. Tengok kawan-kawan boleh buat website, boleh bayar RM500 for to cover their allowances and whatnot.
But what kind of freelancing work was this?
Those were really buat website banyak kan, okay. Buat design works. So masa tu kita tak pernah, I mean I tak terror buat design, I tak terror buat website kan. But me and my good friend ni, we were into music. We did a lot of we played in a band, we jam a lot. We entered Battle of the Bands and all those. So I was like a rock star lah back then. I was like a rock star lah.
What did you do? What did you play? You sing
I
guitar?
I sing and I play guitar.
Okay.
Then like, okay, why not kita buat music video. Sebab masa tu, we had this era of, when we were in school, we had this era of OAG, we had this era of Poetic Emo, kan? We had this era of all those.
Yeah.
And then
Suddenly
it went quiet.
the local bands suddenly came up, right? Through them.
Yeah. And then suddenly it went quiet. So it got back to, all this leleh band playing, buat music video, nyanyi dekat atas bukit, atas lalang, drama without the drum set. And I'm like, damn, we have to change that, man. Yeah, because we can do something different about that. So that's how it all started lah. So we started out from, masa tu that those time tak ada lagi Facebook. I think there was MySpace.
Microsoft.
So they had MySpace as MySpace.
MySpace.
So they had MySpace Music.
Tutup. Okay.
So that's how we started. We started out by buka our own, back then it was MotioFixo, MySpace. Then we.
So even then it was MotioFixo.
No, at that time it had like it was MotioFixo, but it was not as serious as now lah kan.
But what was, first of all, who came up with that lah?
Oh my god, tell me about it.
MotioFixo.
Amran, tell me about it. Kalau nak cerita kat sini,
we got time.
They can all agree. So we had a lot of names. We wanted to give out a lot of names. I had
masih dekat MMU lah ni. Okay.
We had our own names lah. I had my own preference of names. And then we had a few rounds, and then we got tired of it. And then, we still must come up with a name. Right? Now, whatever names lah. And then, there you go.
So somebody had MotioFixo lah.
It came from Faris lah. Faris kata, it's MotioFixo because it's, motion graphics. And then we are fixing all this scene industry. And then, okay lah, whatever lah, just get it registered. There you go.
So the question is, how many people panggil MotioFixo?
This is the best part. But we had a lot of those juga lah. Macam, when we started, bukan kebanyakan, I think almost everybody got it wrong lah. Because they thought it's MotioFixo.
Yeah.
So we were like, it's okay because it's okay. We accepted it, and then when we started, we got MDAC. We did a lot of MDAC works lah.
Tarik mic sikit.
We had a lot of MDAC works.
Yeah.
So dengan MDAC works tu, kita orang kena buat satu video ni. Video ni they wanted to showcase us also lah. So we put our names there kan. So first time we got it right was former PM lah. Got it right, Datuk Sri Najib.
Oh,
MotioFixo. I like that name. Then they blah. We were like,
yeah, somebody got it right.
And somebody in the higher ranks got it right. Yeah. So
Okay.
That's funny lah.
Okay, so rewind. So back to MMU. Okay, so then you wanted to do this music video first. Then
Yeah,
what
so
happened?
we started doing all these music videos. So we approached all the bands on MySpace. So a lot of inquiries. But we know for a fact that they all have no clue about how to start a music video project kan. And their assumption about music video is, at the range of 500 ringgit. Yeah, and we're like, how do we do this kan? But we started out with 500 ringgit lah.
So your first professional jobs were all music videos lah?
Were all music videos. That
Oh,
was my first one, yeah.
cool.
And then we did a few. We started out from 500 ringgit lah, and then adalah a few more bands coming, and then we got into a bit like a hybrid mainstream kind of band. Yeah, start terkenal sikit. What was the band called? Frequency Cannon.
Oh, tak kenal.
By the way, one of the bandmates, he worked at Maybank before this. So anyway, so they won like an Astro Bands Challenge kind of thing.
Okay.
So they were like hybrid mainstream lah, rockstar sikit tapi ada dah keluar TV. So we did that. They had a bit of budget around 2,500 ringgit. So okay, that's a good one. So we got our first 2,500 ringgit.
And all this during MMU?
No, that was after MMU.
Okay.
After MMU. Masa MMU tu we had like 2 bands, 3
Right.
bands. Masa tu kebetulan kita orang pun buat assignment, buat music video.
Hmm.
That's one of the assignments also. So we're like, okay
lah.
do it then we end.
Tapi so when you guys graduated, so what was the decision then? Like, okay, dah graduate ni, we should just continue?
So after MMU, I still wanted to pursue of architecture. Because I feel like let's try lah, kan? Give it another try. So I gave it another try though. So I habis graduate. Actually, I graduated a year late because I deferred 1 year
Okay.
for one subject. I screwed up lah. I screwed up that one subject. Just that one subject. And then but just that one subject too, I had like a year lah to sort of figure out life. So I pergi kerja jap in an architect firm.
Okay. At least this time you
I
got a job
into
lah.
an architect firm. And then I started out, that was it lah. So this is it lah. So I told my former boss, dia dah passed away lah. I said to him, I want to become an architect. I know I don't have a degree, but this is the quest lah. This is the pursuit of the dream that was so long lah planted kan. But do you know, Sham? You can be an architect without a degree in architecture. Really? Yeah. You just go attend PAM punya lecture dekat Jalan Tangsi tu. Every Friday, they have all these architects showcasing, giving lectures, whatnot. And then once you got all the ilmu, you go ambil lah exam PAM level 1, level 2 tu, and then hopefully you become an architect. Oh, really? So the dream tu daripada dah nak habis tu terus naik balik. I'm like, okay. So I pergilah architect firm pergi. So one of the architects I attended one lecture, and he's now the governor of Bandung, and Farid Kamil.
Okay.
Farid Kamil, something like that. Kamil Farid. He's the governor of Bandung sekarang ni kan.
Okay.
So kalau I dapat jumpa dia, best lah boleh cakap dia. I remember your lecture about your house. You talk about your house.
They're back in Bandung. Okay.
So anyway, after...
so while you were working, you were going for these lectures?
Yeah. And then after that, after going through a year, less than a year actually, working in an architect firm, I found out that I'm tired. I got tired of it. I got tired of it. Because I was the only 3D guy in there. I had to serve around 8 architects. So basically 8 different projects. And what I did was I was a 3D visualizer. So I had to, from a flat plan, I had to make it 3D lah. So I had to 3D them up.
And in those days, what was the 3D renderings for? For promo videos and all that?
For impression. For
impressions, okay.
And then for visualization lah, macam I had to serve a few clients also because they want to see how does it look like, what kind of cladding and whatnot.
Okay. Right.
So you attended all those meetings lah. So I was indispensable. But at the same time, I got exhausted lah.
Yeah.
Kan, macam I was the only guy. So they gave me all the necessary allowances. I mean, they didn't pay me much though, but never mind.
But you were sought after lah.
I was sought after lah. And then I kind of enjoyed it, and then I got tired lah because it's too much lah kan. Then I got back. I told my 2 partners tu kan, cakap, why don't we restart betul-betul lah this MotioFixo?
They had moved on lah. They were doing their own stuff also.
Yeah, they had moved on.
Okay.
Idril back then sama macam I juga, but he had a few more subjects I think. And Faris, he was lecturing. He was tutoring at MMU.
Okay.
Then I told them we gathered. Wait, why don't we just let's just do something lah kan? I think we had something. We just need to boost it a little kan? They were like, okay. How do you do that? I will resign first to show my
commitment lah.
To show this is not like a half deal lah. This is a full deal kan? Then I resigned.
Wow, that's brave.
Yeah, I resigned, and then when I start lah. And then at that time Faris was still macam, I'm comfortable doing tutoring kan. Like, it's not, you won't find that comfort there kan. You've got talent, you gotta go out. Okay, you resign first, then I will resign. You sure? Then he eventually resigned lah after like a month or 2 lah. But after that, and then we found out all the 3 of us are like already together. And then we we met a few friends. I mean, we met a few people just starting. Masa tu MDEC had like they were so busy with their Saladin project. So that's how we got to know Hasnul.
Okay.
That's how we got to know Hasnul. We asked his colleague lah, how do you start an animation company? And how do you start all this? So they they brought us for a tour lah dekat MDEC. They brought us to the their studio, their animation house.
Was he running it then?
Huh?
Was he running it then?
I can't remember. I can't recall.
Okay.
But he was at MDEC lah. So I think he's part of the team, I think.
Right.
And then
ni semua masa not too far away from MMU lah. Everything was out there.
Everything happened in Cyberjaya.
In Cyberjaya.
Because we started out Mosho pun from this one apartment next to MMU.
Oh, okay.
It was Faris's apartment.
Right.
So we started out from an apartment lah. And then from MDEC led to another. So some people recommended, some friends recommended, hey, you guys can go meet this guy. He has some projects. He needs some people to work on it. And then okay, and then we met, and then he gave us some anchor projects, but which is a good one. We started out like we started out like a few thousand ringgit punya project, and then Hasno called us up, hey, you guys, I can see your potential. Why don't you go join our incubation in MDEC? We have this SME incubation center. It's next to HSBC. So you go incubate there. We'll give you a few projects. You have to make a lot so that after a year you get out.
Right.
You get out and make your own lah. Okay, why not? So from a moment we shifted to that place. And then we had MDEC as our, client back then. So we did a lot with their corporate com. So from music video, it became corporate services already. Corporate services already. So yeah, we did quite a lot. And then we ended up 1.5 years, baru lah kita belah. We got to another building in Cyberjaya juga.
Okay.
Cyberview punya building tu. And then we stayed there for like 3 years. And then we got, I think at that time we have arrived around 4.5 years. We feel like, okay, I think we're too dependent on MDEC lah. Let's be bigger. Let's do bigger things.
Was it at that point still just the three of you?
No, we had like we grew lah. We had a decent team lah. We started out from the three of us, and then we had interns because Faris was a tutor at MMU, kan? So we had like good talents. We had good talents. So
direct access.
Come in, become our interns. We'll give you good grades and we'll give you good remarks. Okay. And then after they become our intern, they join us.
Right.
Join the team. So from a team of 3, we had and then we had a team of 6, and then we had a team of 10, and then 15, and then there you go lah. So after we had enough of Cyberjaya punya growth, we kind of let's be brave, let's go bigger, kan? So we got to Publica, our office,
right?
In Publica. So that's where we.
When was that?
2010.
Okay.
2010. Yeah. So 2011.
Right.
So 2011.
Almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, almost 10 years ago. So there we became more competitive lah. We had like a team, not coming from MMU saja. We had team from other people. So from other institutions.
Yeah.
And then there.
How was the industry then at that point? Right, when you came out. Animation, creatives on 3D and all that. Was there a lot going on, or that was still like a cowboy?
It was a big cohort back then. When we started out, MotioFixo, we started out at the same time where Let's Go Park started.
Oh.
We started out when there was so many creative companies popping up.
Right.
I think because of MDEC lah, because they had their creative multimedia content CMC agenda back then. So so many creative companies go to MDEC to apply for grants, assistance and whatnot. So we had a lot of that, but we never wanted to become an animation company.
What did you guys want to be?
We wanted to be a creative agency. We wanted to serve brands. even though there were so many temptations lah,
Right.
because
To
a lot
become
of people,
innovation.
you got free grants from MDEC, pergilah apply itu. Why can't you just look into some ideas? And we had this naive thought of, we don't want to commit on one project and for a few years. We rather serve a few brands, and then and then we jump onto another brand, and then onto another brand, whatnot, kan. And then we had a different path lah.
Yeah.
But we still wanted to, try out some new ideas if we come across one, kan. So back then there were a lot of companies.
Oh. So between the two, right? Between turning into an animation company and doing creatives for branding, I guess in terms of skill standpoint and technology standpoint is the same pretty much, is it? Or because you're doing very much shorter type length, it's different tech, or is it the same? It's just
It's
how
the
you
same.
apply it.
I think it's the creative process that is different bit.
Huh.
I mean, the creative process is the same, but we put a lot of focus on, because we serve different clients, therefore we have different approaches lah. And
What do you mean?
different approaches, because different client will require different approaches in their marketing. They've got different messaging. They want the different brand persona and whatnot, kan. So it's a service that we can offer those brands lah back in the days. So unlike other creative companies where they do animation, visual effects, they have a framework. I mean, the framework is the same also, but actually they focus on the development of the IPs and whatnot, kan. For us, we the advantage of us in terms of positioning is that when we serve a lot of brands, we serve a lot of industries, our knowledge on how other industries work is to our advantage lah. So we could use that. It gives us a different perspective on how we view things lah. So that was the thought back then. And then if you work on like animation companies, you have to really focus on from sequence 1 to the end credit. You have
For
to
that project lah.
for that project. So it's going to take you
like
like a year and a half, kan. So we did not want to explore that path lah, to be honest. But we did not want to go into that path lah.
So between going down branding, why down the branding path? I mean, was that from the start when you started doing your music videos and say, hey, let's go into let's help companies with their brands?
Yeah.
Ataupun it's
Actually,
more like
we had that common aspiration lah. It was an unspoken aspiration actually. But the three of us have this one thing in common, which is we wanted to, because we had this aspiration, we had this vision of, hey, those were the days we had like good music video, a lot of effort, a lot of money was spent to produce good videos and whatnot, and then it died down. What happened to that? And is it because of, I don't know, because of money? Why not we restart that? But we know for a fact that music videos, if you want to survive on, producing music videos, you cannot do that because it's ridiculous lah, kan.
Because what the it's so cheap.
Yeah, the understanding, the assumption that music video is low cost is not helping lah. But we still accept music video jobs until today.
Okay.
And we are proud to say, because we started it. It started from 500 ringgit music video. We have leveled it up to a few. We had one music video for like close to 100,000 ringgit.
Wow.
So that's like an achievement for us, at least for the industry as well. It should be recognized lah in some way, kan. So and my partner Idril, he's really focusing on that.
I see.
And he's into that path lah. He does a lot of content work, camera works, and so I think he's passionate about that. And for me, I'm not into that anymore lah. I've been doing a lot of brand development, strategy works and whatnot.
So actually on that, let's talk about MotioFixo a little bit lah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do? I know it's like creatives for brands.
So So we are on the third phase of our journey, but we were known as a creative agency. So we did a lot of creative services, kan?
Right.
Creative agency. So we do brand services, advertising, content and whatnot for brands and for clients lah. And then a year ago, I think 2 years ago, we had a reflection. We have to reinvent. So we are now into creative tech. So we have like a few ventures already.
Okay,
so
what is creative tech? Sounds interesting.
So because my partner Faris, he's no longer the creative superstar, creative rock star. Those were the days lah, kan? So those were the days where he was called the creative designer. So he's no longer interested to sort of build that career lah.
Based on that, the persona of the
so he had enough of design works,
right.
But he's into solving problems. So which is quite interesting though, because in 2010 we can claim this. Fact. In 2010, we were the pioneers that brought in projection mapping.
Okay, which is
shooting visuals on buildings.
Oh, okay.
So those that time nobody knows lah about. Nobody had idea lah about projection mapping. At that time, I was so focused on serving MDEC as my client, kan? So we had a lot of requests to do this and that. And then he was into that. He was into doing something different. And he spent almost every night he stayed up late just to do that, do this projection mapping. And then I had to ask him lah. I confronted him like, why are you so passionate about this? We have this money coming in. And I said, I just want to do it. This is cool. This is so cool to do. And so then you buat lah projection mapping tu. And then projection mapping became a good business.
So what is it for the layman? Where do we see this projection mapping?
In events.
So it's basically just projecting it to larger surfaces. Larger buildings.
Yeah. Have you heard of Lampu?
No.
Lampu Festival in Putrajaya.
Fail.
Have you heard of projection mapping before?
No. Ni tanya ni.
So projection mapping ni, it's basically projecting visuals on building lah.
But why is there such? Isn't it just let's get a powerful projector and tembak?
It is powerful.
Right.
It is a powerful projector. Kan? But it requires. But it's not like simply pakai projector and tembak to a flat surface and then voila, you got a visual, right? You have to consider, the depth. You have to consider the surfaces, kan? So this, and then they just want to. It's very common in Japan and Europe where they do all these lights festival.
And the content itself pun placed on the shape of the buildings lah.
Okay, so it's like a, how do you say? It's like a show lah. It's like a show. Show on a building, kan?
Okay. So this is a technology that was fairly new in 2010 lah.
Yeah, fairly new in 2010. I mean, it was not as new in 2010 in Europe or other places, but
not
Malaysia,
in Malaysia.
It's very new. And then in 2012, it became like a business for us. It became like a something lah. So we had like product launch. At that time, we were the only one.
No one who could do it.
We were the only who could do it. And the software that Faris used back then was open source software.
Okay.
You imagine lah. So nowadays we have a lot of softwares for that. So from there, then he had like a reflection. I want to solve other problems also lah, using creativity.
Right.
So Faris is I am blessed enough to have him as my partner because he's among the three of us. He's like the future-proof guy lah.
Okay.
He makes sure that the company stays future-proof. So or else we're gonna be left out lah.
Because for whatever you are doing today, other companies will catch up lah.
Yeah, exactly. So we I mean, every 3 or 4 years we had to reinvent ourselves. So we started out from doing image branding, that was
Okay.
like such a ridiculous name. But back then it was so cool lah, because nobody had idea about image branding.
What is image branding?
It is still creative services.
Okay.
Kan? You develop your brand with our services lah. Kan?
Okay.
And then it became a creative agency.
Mm.
And then we had a long journey of becoming a creative agency, position it. And then now we are into creative tech. So when we reinvent, it doesn't just come up with a name and then we move on. Kan? It really impacts on how we mobilize the business as well. So after we reposition ourselves into becoming creative tech, we want to look into creative solutions lah. So we had like projection mapping, we have AR, VR services.
But all this still to support brands, or now it's purely the technology for creative?
We have IP, we have our own IPs. We also do service. We also do servicing for brands.
Okay.
So we have a mix of both lah sebenarnya. Before this, we were purely
the brands inside lah.
Brand services.
Okay.
So now that we are a creative tech, kita buat lah AR, VR services. We have our own IPs on that. We also do services for brands. So we have like a turnkey solution, and then we offer for brands. We don't need to. I mean, you can take it, but we will serve you we will serve you lah. Kan? And then we have, and then we came up with VR for rehab. So we do, it's called medical rehabilitation virtual reality. So we do VR for rehab. So we are, and then 2016 we got 2018 we were featured by DG for their Raya campaign. So that's
what was so special about that one?
Using VR for rehabilitation lah.
Okay.
For those who for medical rehabilitation, not rehab lah, not like you for
drug addicts.
Okay. So yang tu we work together with we work together with UiTM, and then we look into other labels. We partner with a few startups to look into how we can collaborate and then synergize together and come up with something else. So we have a few of those. So that's creative tech lah, basically. Trying to position into that. And as of now, that's still new to us lah. It's still for us to explore lah.
So where does the tech come from? Is that something where obviously you need to keep looking out elsewhere?
We have to keep looking out lah sebenarnya. But before this, the idea of having positioning it as a creative tech, because we saw an opportunity to spearhead the retail industry. So we want to be in the retail tech industry because we had a lot of solutions for brands and for operators.
Like what? For example, how would
we
you
have
use
this one
tech?
technology where you can like a what? Apa ni panggil? Hologram mirror, and we can install it in shopping malls, and you can use it for advertising purposes and whatnot.
Okay.
So it's like a few solutions that we have. Whether we partner with some companies outside the country or we have our own solution as well, kan? So we wanted to be in that retail
right
tech.
To support retail. Okay, now I
to support
understand.
it.
Right.
But
Macam Minority Report lah. Let's be the
We-
power behind all that
Yes,
type of advertising.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think, it's a business decision jugalah. If it happens, it happens lah. But
Yeah.
it didn't happen.
Okay.
So we are still looking for new opportunities on that lah. But we have a lot of solutions, if you ask me, using VR and AR. So these days, our VR and AR services are a hot item lah.
Okay.
It's our cash cow lah these days.
Right. So what kind of applications normally for your AR VR
For
solution?
brand activations.
So how does that work? So I have a new launch of a product, right?
Yeah.
So I will find a use case somehow for. I assuming when you say VR AR is kena pakai your goggles and things, or pakai your phone to
Pakai
use
phone
it.
lah.
Okay.
Biasa pakai phone lah, because brand they want touch point. VR is the touch point is not as many as AR lah kan. So we did. We have clients like Baskin Robbins during their Chinese New Year campaign. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have done.
Anything cool with that? What did Baskin Robbins do with AR or VR?
They can interact lah. They can interact with the. How do I describe this? I am not as creative these days.
MCO ni dah duduk lama sangat.
I know. It's basically when they want to do brand activation, right? So they have like a physical touch point,
right?
And you use that physical touch point, and you augment that AR feature on that physical touch point, and then the AR pops up lah.
To force people to go to that shop lah, let's say.
Sort of, right? And then there's a call to action lah. You'll be given discounts, you'll be given vouchers, and whatnot. Again. So we have that all ready. So we have, and that is part of the turnkey solution lah. It's a turnkey solution, and we could use that for other brands as well. So we don't know. Maybe in the future it could become our own product. We don't know that yet. So that right now we have that lah.
Right.
What else? I think right now our VR AR is a lot lah. And Faris is the one who's running it. I'm just the guy who, I'm just the guy who's taking credit out of it lah. Sorry, Faris.
All the marketing lah, at least push. So from a team standpoint, so you had your team that grew with you from the more branding standpoint, kan? And now that you reinvented yourselves a couple of years ago, so how did you adjust your team and the skills that you had in there?
This is also a funny bit about us. Because the three of us ni, kita orang ni ada different circle networks, you see. So I'm more of I am somehow more appealing to the corporate guys. I don't know why lah. My friends are a lot more senior than my real friends, kan. And Faris is more into the creative scene, tech startup scene.
Okay.
And where Im is more of a content creator guy. And so he has his own circle network, and also clients, incomes also, okay. So before this we had like a 3 set of networks served by one small team. So you imagine like I brought in the branding job, Faris brought in some product launch project, and then Im brought in some music video stuff. So the team had they got really exhausted lah. And then after that we decided to let's just separate them.
Okay.
Separate them by operation lah, kan. So Faris has his own team where he has like a more of a visualizer kind of team lah. So whatever graphical ni, we have like one team that serves these people. So I did a lot of I'm more of a sales guy. So I have my account servicing guy lah, kan. So they normally wait for my orders lah, kan. And then they will sort of, my middle management lah, basically they will sort of manage the project, whether they want to outsource it to somebody else, it's up to them lah, kan. And then,
but you bring the pipeline lah of projects.
So before this we had a team of 30 though. That was a lot. 30 of them. But nowadays we
split to support all these three different brands.
All these three different networks. Yeah.
Right.
But these days we think I think we have to control lah, kan. We have to manage the cash flow better. So we decided to downsize it a little lah.
Okay.
So right now we have a team of 12, 13 je.
Okay.
Kan?
Okay.
Which is also okay lah. It's still manageable. And then we have 3 companies running different portfolios.
Okay.
Under MotioFixo lah.
Right.
So we have 3 so-called subsidiaries lah, kan. So that's where we are now lah.
Right. That's the reinvention lah.
That's the
Right?
reinvention, yeah.
Yeah. For now, we'll see how far it can go lah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right.
Let's see how that goes lah.
Yeah. So from an entrepreneur standpoint, right? So
Yeah.
right from the beginning, when you were there, you wanted to obviously join, to become an architect, right?
Okay.
Okay, so that was that. And I'm sure if you want to be an architect, at the end of the day, you'll probably want to own your own architecture firm and all that path. If that was the path,
Yeah, that
you
was
had,
the
right?
path, yeah.
But instead, you realize, okay, go back and set this up, right? So running a company with, it's like a monster with 3 heads lah in your case, right?
Yeah, betul.
How was that experience?
It was-
Until now, I guess, which means it survived it.
Yeah, we survived it. A lot of people, a lot of friends also have told us, hey, you guys need like one direction lah. You cannot just work on 3 directions, separate direction. I mean, it was scary also lah to know that we had 3 directions running on one company, kan? But actually, we have a direction. It's just that it was just unspoken aja. So we have, but we have came to agree to one direction juga lah, which is the creative tech, kan? It's just not how you mobilize that aspiration into 3 different circles of networks, kan? So that's how we. That was okay for us lah, and I think that's the recipe of how we survive. That's number 2. How we survive is because I think we have more than just business partners lah, kan?
What do you mean?
I mean, we're more than just business partners. We started
you
out
are friends in college,
yeah,
in uni.
Yeah, so
You met in uni lah.
yeah,
no?
we
You
met
are-
in uni. So we understood how each of us work, kan? And we know we have to admit that we are not perfect, so one completes another, kan? And my weakness is their strength, kan? So they cover up some of the things that I cannot do, and obviously I lead some of the things that they cannot do, kan? So that's how we survive also. But what was the question here?
How does it? Yeah, the experience of running a company with 3
3
heads.
direction, 3 heads. Okay lah, it was it's quite a roller coaster though.
I'm sure there were challenges too.
Yeah,
lah.
a lot of challenges actually. Because of the 3 networks we had ni, I somehow outshine a little because I'm more of a corporate guy, so my networks ni is dapat kawan dengan Amran, Hassan, kan?
Oh, thank you. But it brings you to a lot of places lah.
Yeah,
I guess
brings me to a lot of places. So what brought me to an interesting place is I got to become a working committee of the launch of Magic in 2014, kan?
Right.
That was a
when
thing
Obama
lah.
came and all that.
Where I had to work with the White House officials. I work with them directly. Yeah.
So your role then, was it part of did you bring your creative team design onto that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I brought my 3 interns and then I have my team.
your famous interns.
So and that's how I got into the scene that we are today lah.
Right.
How I got into the scene where we are today. But I did not. It got so overwhelming. But and that made me a bit. That made me outshine a little than my 2 partners lah, because they're not. That kind of project is not the kind of project that they want to work on lah.
Yeah.
But it's good for business, so okay lah. And then because of that, obviously whenever they call they call me, they see me as MotioFixo lah, not them, kan? So sometimes we had a lot of arguments about that lah.
Right.
Where is my territory? What about my territory? Yeah, you're not helping me on my territory, and
Yeah.
so something like that. So we had a lot of that, but we kind of solved it. Okay. But and then when the business was good, because I brought in a lot of the pies, or a lot of the
business.
I was okay lah.
Hmm.
And then when I was on my deep downfall, that's where I realized, hey, actually we are okay, not because of me putting a lot of business, but also you covered a lot of my downfalls. Kan? So that is something that me myself personally that I learned from running a business with 3 heads.
With 2 others,
Yeah, because when you are at the top or at the peak of your journey, can you feel like you're invincible, can?
Yeah.
And you're like, and this is all about me, it's about me. But actually, when you are down, then you see that actually it was just a phase. And when you are down, you have to remember who helped you out lah. Kan?
Yeah. And that's when you also see who your real partners are, your friends are.
Yeah, betul. So that's how we are okay about that lah until today.
So if a couple, because right now, a lot of startups are always, there's no single, I am the CEO founder, right? Now everybody's a co-founder.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much every company that I know now, everybody's a co-founder, right?
Betul.
So what advice would you have for co-founders, right? Look, that you should really be aware of or bring up front when they start on their journey together, right? If you could give them advice on that, what would you say? Right? Okay, here's a bunch of co-founders. Right? You've gone through it, right?
Yeah.
By coincidence, there was 3 co-founders in yours, right?
Yeah.
And you've survived it, right?
Yeah.
So what made you guys survive for this last 15, 16 years that you would tell these new co-founders, look, here's a few things that you should watch out for?
I think to all of you co-founders,
Yes.
to all of you co-founders, it's not about you.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, that's number one. It's not about
Right.
you. But I think the most important thing is that when you are about to start a business, you have to really live in the aspiration of why you're forming that business. I think that's the most important thing. Because that is the only thing that connects you and your co-founders. There should be an aspiration that lies, whether it's spoken or unspoken, there should be some kind of aspiration that you and your co-founders agree on to start the business. So, and if you cannot find that aspiration, you don't have to start that business. You do something else lah.
You don't have a common aspiration.
Common aspiration. But if you don't want to speak, or you don't want to talk about it among them, it's fine as long as you know, kan? You know them very well lah. So, if you ask me how I started, it started off with an unspoken aspiration. It's not about us. So we started out because we come from I come from a struggling family also. Me and my 2 partners. So I kind of understand how my other partner also struggle in his life. Kan? So if I don't have money, I also must know that he also don't have money. Kan?
Yeah.
So that's the trust that that the 3 of us put lah among us. So, and the aspiration has to go more than just about us lah. It's about, changing the world, or, make a change. But it needs to be realistic lah. Kan? I don't want to, I don't know whether I can be Elon Musk, because most co-founders, they always think that way. Kan? I want to change the world. I want to do this. I understand, but be realistic lah. You have to. From an architect, I cannot just simply become a scientist, kan? Just because I want to change the world.
Right.
So that's something that I believe lah. I mean, I believe my 2 partners also feel that way as well. And we complete each other in some way, because there were unspoken and spoken aspirations along the way, along the journey. Kan? And
I guess I guess the unspoken ones really comes out from their actions lah, right?
Yeah,
they realize,
exactly,
okay, cool, I would do that too.
Yeah. So I always tell my wife also, hey, I'm married before you,
Okay.
I'm married to them first.
To them.
I'm married to them first. But because I know them very well, kan?
Yeah.
there's this one time because I was so busy with other work these days, and then I went a bit silent. And then they will call me, hey, you okay or not? So you went quiet. Yeah, you need any help?
Right.
I know that you're busy. You got your bottlenecks. Have you sorted out all these bottlenecks? No. Then that's where okay. They empathize you and they
Right.
understand
Right.
that I've got I've got these bottlenecks that I have to sort out.
Hmm.
So that's where the unspoken
Ah.
the unspoken action came in lah kan.
Right.
Unspoken action, spoken thought.
Right. So right now, so you're saying from the three of you doing the similar things, then you now formalize the three different areas in the company,
Yeah.
right? So what's the future outlook? Even though it's three different areas, but it's all within creative tech lah.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you split the roles and responsibilities now? Because now it's all under the same kind of umbrella.
I think right now we are on the midst of building new talents sebenarnya. Because I think we are in the business for 13 years already. I cannot be as creative as before lah kan.
Right.
We have to be creative in business lah pula kan.
Yeah.
So we had come down to an agreement that it's not about us anymore. We are the co-founders of the company, but we only set the culture of the company. But if you want to make sure that the business stays on, it needs to be performed by new talents, young talents. So we are in the journey of building that lah. So we are still identifying new talents to come to our ecosystem, business ecosystem, and see how they can add value to that. So at this point of time, I think we are more of giving back lah kot. Yeah, we are giving this. We are trying to pass this baton to new talents. It's a matter of what kind of talent that we're looking for, and it has to be the ones that can perform and hasn't been given the platform.
Yeah.
So this should be a platform lah for us kan. So that's what we are in the midst of working on.
So if we look back from your journey, looking it from a not like from a national standpoint lah, right? Malaysia, and in terms of the creative skills. So when you left MMU, I think MMU actually had a very big impact on I think the skill set that raised the skill set of creatives in Malaysia.
I have no doubt. Yeah, I have no doubt.
So how do you see the changes during your days when you graduated in terms of the number of talent that's out there, and then over the years until now, right? How has things improved, or it's gotten not so good, or it's kind of the same?
It has improved a lot, to be honest. It has improved quite a lot. When you look at the creative industry in Malaysia ni, MMU, I mean for me lah, because I'm a panelist for MMU as well, I see a lot of good talents out there. I've been doing a lot of creative stuff. What I think is lacking right now is more of a leadership, creative leadership. That
from industry standpoint or from
industry
government,
standpoint,
or
I think.
okay,
From industry standpoint,
because
we don't have a lot of creative leaders, creative background leaders lah. A lot of them can do a lot of work, can do work, can perform, but I don't know. I think something that needs to be done is to instill some leadership element, especially if they want to run a business. For instance, if they come from a creative background, creative designer, and they want to start up a creative agency, for instance, I can't see how because these young talents, they are very energetic, so there should be a bit of wisdom injected in them. Where do they get that? I don't know. Maybe on YouTube, or if they are not English speaking designers but can still perform, there should be some bahasa messaging into it, So that is something that I notice lah. I notice. But when it comes to creative talents, we have a lot of them actually. They can do a lot of good stuff, great stuff. I have this one designer working with us. he works with us. He's really talented. I think he can, he can. If he goes to other places, it's a loss for me lah, kan?
Right.
So
right.
that's, and he's like
Being selfish, that's you see it, right?
but he's
For
like
your sake.
24, and he does good. He does a lot of good work, eh?
Hmm.
So it's just that when the time comes, he has to go not here. He has to go somewhere else,
Right.
bigger, so
To
that
grow.
to grow, and then to get those leadership wisdoms. You cannot just these people cannot just, like those days, people just hop on, hop off to all these studios and agencies, kan? They must go to other places. They must go to other industries, for instance, so that they get all this wisdom. Kan? That's the case with us as well, with the three of us. Because we talk to a lot of people. We interact with a lot of people, business owners from diverse industries and backgrounds. Kan? Now we have a lot. I can say that we have our general knowledge in terms of industry. We kind of understand how does it work, how the universe works actually. Right. So that is. But we had to do it by force because we had no choice, because it's the business. We have to survive, kan?
Right.
But these new talents, I don't know whether maybe they don't have that urge. Kan? They just want to do good work, and they don't care about the project. They just want to do good work. They just follow whatever that is briefed to them, and then they'll perform. But that's not enough to me lah, kan? So that's something that I think for us lah, thought leaders ni, we have to do that lah.
On the creatives, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, when you talk about the other industries like banking and all that, right, it's always being disrupted, right? The fintechs and insurtech, retail, obviously, right? From the creatives industry, do you see a lot of that kind of disruption? Do people come out and say, "Yeah, I'm going to disrupt this," and a bunch of guys will go in there and bring something new to the table? Or the creatives' career path is quite, okay, you come out from uni, let's go find an agency to join, and then you kind of path. How does that work with you guys?
I think right now, because creativity is from an industry standpoint, creative industry has been how to say, dissected into macam contoh MDAC, they only cover animation and visual effects and also some other
gaming now too.
Kan? Because they see that as a game changer for, they can offer employment, they can offer a lot of that, kan? But we have to also consider the other discipline of creative economy, kan? We have like fashion lifestyles, kan? What happened to that? Is there any government agency that is empowering that segment or not, kan? So if you ask me right now, the creative industry, I can't imagine how creative industry can be disrupted, because creativity is like I cannot say it's a talent, but it's like the route to invention lah, kan? If you want to invent something, you have to be creative enough to invent it, kan? So I can't see how that can be disrupted, because
it itself is evolving.
But there are some areas within the creative so-called industry that is being disrupted, like the way of work, and dulu, those were the days, agencies, brands, they were so obsessed with creative directors, kan?
Okay.
So
this is the heroes lah.
The heroes. So whenever there's a creative director from this agency A, when he or she shifted to another agency, he and she will bring along the clients to that agency, kan? So that's how bizarre it was lah back then, kan?
It's almost like an architect, kan?
Macam architect, kan? So macam these days, brands, they don't look into that anymore, kan?
There's no personality lah.
No personality. They just want to see what works. They just want to see a good strategy. They just want to see that the ROI.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
There's a pro and con lah, I think. There's a pro and con lah. If without the persona of the creative director, so how can you inspire new talents? Kan? But without kalau tak ada if the brands are focusing on the pragmatic of running marketing and whatnot, kan, the pragmatism of running marketing semua tu, then how the agency is going to make money out of it, kan? And also how can they make sure the ROI is relevant to what they are spending, kan? So in a way, it has its pro and cons lah, if you ask me. But looking at disrupting the so-called industry, I don't think lah, personally, I don't think that it can be disrupted, but it has to be empowered by some form of unification lah. Because creativity ni, it has to be, because creativity will be better when they cut across a lot of all these industry segments, kan?
All this crossbreeding of
because
ideas.
that's like I mean, I don't want to be too abstract though, but it has some kind of abstract lah when it comes to creativity ni. Like now, I'm in the midst of trying to form this one union called ADUN.
Okay.
The Art Directors Union.
Art Directors Union, okay.
Where I'm gonna assemble all the art directors from all kinds of discipline. From fashion, stage design.
Macam the Avengers lah ni.
But they just like an association lah.
Right.
But they get to interact and they get to see how the other art directors work. And then in the future, they get to, fight for whatever causes, kan? Whether it's low wages. In Malaysia, we've got a lot of designers.
Okay.
And nobody talks about them. I mean, for instance, if a fresh graduate designer, gaji dia say around minimum 2,500. So very skillful. Decent skills, kan? Decent skills. But we've got the same guy, kan, who works in the public sector as a designer, kan? But gaji dia maybe minimum, kan? So there's an imbalance to that lah. So that's something to me we need to discuss about that lah, kan? Whether government, whether policy makers or industry, that has to be addressed lah, if you ask me. Because designers ni, they have values, kan?
Yeah.
But I think because the fact that people cannot value this so-called talents and skills, kan? So they don't know how to value when it comes to they just decide, they just plug the numbers from the sky and there you go, that's your gaji. Kan?
So I wonder how that value is for designers. Not that you talk about that. I mean, where I'm coming from is, if I was going to hire a developer, right, coding, right, programmer, right?
They're the hot items.
Exactly, right? So it's very clear. I just need to know what languages you know, right? What are the projects you've had? Okay, I get another good developer to evaluate your skills, right? And I know roughly 3-4 years worth of coding experience. Okay lah, I should be paying you X amount, right? But designers are, you could be a 20-year-old designer, but absolutely useless, right? Because your designs are not that great, and yet you could be a hot shot fresh grad, but your designs are like so hebat, right? So how does the industry actually evaluate a designer, right, in terms of from their design, right? Or is it a question of, it's like art, right? It's where it's up in the eye of the beholder lah.
That's also another debate lah sebenarnya. We have this policy of, are you a creative designer or are you a creative artist?
Okay, what's that?
Because if you are an artist, imagine if you are an artist, apa you buat? You create a masterpiece,
right? Up to me lah. This for me is a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece, and then somebody commenting on it, and he's like, I don't care about you. But that's an artist lah. That's an artist lah. It's a creative artist, kan? So it's not bad. It's just that nature. It's just a nature.
Right.
So if it's a creative designer, it's basically solving a problem lah.
Right.
So we've got this problem. How can you solve it through your art skills, kan? Or through your communicative skill, through your copywriting skill. So that is pretty much designer lah.
Right.
Kan? So
when a corporate engages a creative, right? Then I'm looking for art director, right? Because I say, hey,
it depends.
Here's my product, and I want to figure out how to sell this message this out there, right?
So that's design lah.
Design work,
kan?
correct.
But there are also corporates looking for artists.
Okay.
Say Yasmin Ahmad,
Yes.
kan?
The late Ahmad.
The late Yasmin Ahmad. I think she's like, I just want to talk about this. If you like it, you take it. And so that's like the rockstar creative directors lah.
Although, but everything that she does is good lah. I mean, in
Of
terms
course,
of
it has to be good lah.
it
It
has
has to be that
yeah.
good lah. Kan?
Right. Yeah.
But there are also people out there yang they are just creative artists. They just buat and then that's it. I don't care about you, kan? If you like it, you like it lah.
Okay.
But if you take it without my permission, I will sue you lah, kan?
Right.
Because of plagiarism and all this. Yeah.
So MotioFixo is what? Are you directors or are you artists?
We're more of designing lah. We're more of creative solution lah.
Right.
We want to solve problems, kan?
Yeah.
But we had good artists juga back then. But they had their own way of defining solving a problem. Eccentric sikit lah kan. But they need people like us to sort of help them commercialize themselves.
That's true.
So we had one designer who had who got endorsed by brands. Kan? So we had done that before.
Okay.
We had groomed one designer who had really good how do you say type hand what do you call it? Hand
Penmanship.
It's like a hand type font typeface typeface designer lah. He's a really good typeface designer kan. So we had helped him publish his own typeface.
His own font lah.
His own fonts kan. So for us, we had that framework already lah. So when we interview one guy, we know where we can judge already by his portfolio, by the way he sees things. You are a bit of a out of scale of 10, you are 7 artists, 7 designer. So then we can sort of plan lah how to assign him on assignments or projects and whatnot.
Okay. So is the purpose of Adon to somehow try to make the broader community understand the
in a
creative
way
art
lah, because I think learning from our experience, our interaction will give us more wisdom and perspectives. Kan? I think interaction is needed here kan. Without interaction, you become like a backdated kind of designer lah. Kan?
Yeah.
And maybe lack empathy to some extent. So that's why we are trying to form that. Actually.
Okay. So what's the plans with that? That sounds like an interesting future.
The idea was coined like a few years ago. Until today, I'm still trying to figure that one out, how to get them into how to buy them in lah.
Right.
It's not that easy though, because they've got different perspective. They are very opinionated. So it's just a matter of how we can please everybody and then they come on board. But we have a few who have already bought into it. So trying to get a few more lah. So it's just a matter of when lah.
Okay. And hopefully that would be the lighthouse for all future designers lah, if you like.
I don't know. I guess so. I mean, it's not about. I think it's not so much about where we want to go. It's more about interactions that I want to achieve.
A community lah, to build that community.
And people don't talk about designers. We have like a social media community which we share all our works. But if you go through all those communities, they always talk about what they do. They don't talk about the real stuff. They don't talk about empathy. They don't talk about say productivity. Because we can also contribute to GDP if you want to, but maybe there's no platform for them to talk about it.
Yeah. It's always the creative output lah.
Yeah, it's always the banks that are sexy to talk about, kan? The financials and fintech, kan? What about creativity? That should be something sexier to talk about. So that's something that we want to look into lah.
Okay.
Hence why we want to call the art directors. We don't want to call the designers yet, because they are
Okay.
very, very opinionated and they have no clue about this. Having a few art directors to talk about ni will give these people inspiration, will inspire them, and so that one day I want to be part of the adun.
Yeah,
Can you
aspire
imagine
to
that?
that.
Kan?
Yeah,
So that's kind of the kind of movement that I have thought of forming lah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Oh, it's almost an hour already.
Habis dah?
So unless
Amran tak grill I. Thank you.
I need friendly chat je. Okay, now here comes the tough question. Anyway, thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks Sam.
Good luck with your reinvention, right?
Hopefully.
And then see how MotioFixo. Did I get that right?
Yes.
MotioFixo.
I mean, we are okay. But these days people call us Mosho.
Oh, Mosho.
Mosho je.
That's why your website pun Mosho je.
Mosho je.
So
we had dulu ada apa? Dulu ada when we secured this one project with a ministry. So we had like a long we had like a lot of people attending that meeting, chaired by the KSU called us up. MotioFixo.
Jauhnya.
MotioFixo.
Okay lah, Mosho lah.
Mosho is better lah. Motio pun is okay. As long as it's there lah kan.
Jangan kopiko.
MotioFixo, okay. It's like ubat nyamuk.
Itulah. Okay lah. So anyway, good luck with that, with Mosho.
Thanks.
And then good luck with Adun. And then come back in again lah, maybe in a couple of months, towards the end of the year, and see how you guys are doing.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe get a little bit more into the creative tech, because that sounds... What is the next... What do you call it? Projection mapping?
Projection mapping, yes.
So what is the next projection mapping scale of new things that's coming?
Hari tu Faris became a panelist for this one webinar hosted by ASEAN players lah.
Okay.
Projection mapping ASEAN players. They talk about the new norm projection mapping and how they visualize that. Yeah. So they talk about that. So I think that's something something's gonna pop up out of that webinar kan. You should interview Faris lah. He's like the future proof guy.
Boleh bawa dia nanti.
Before this I had this ego with him, but these days I like when it comes to future, he's the futurist lah. I can sell whatever that he wants to.
That he brings.
Yeah,
you sell it.
I will sell it. Kan. So that's Faris lah. You gotta call him.
Boleh. Nanti lah next time we'll get
Faris,
him in.
nanti kau tengok ni pula Faris. You will come in.
Yes, please, Faris. Next guy. Okay, man.
Alright.
Okay, Jam. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.